Volume 4, Chapter 6, Carriage and Coachman. Sato is here. I do have a driver's license, but I have never actually driven for years. As a man who lived in the center of the city, I was already satisfied with the public transportation. Although if I had my own car, it had been convenient in a date. We only have horse carriage cabs here. If you want to buy a carriage, then order it on the Merchants Guild inside the inner wall. I tried talking to the people on the stable areas near the gate, but they didn't sell it there. Is this like trying to buy a car in a taxi stand? I'm a bit ashamed. The Merchants Guild should have them if you're fine with used ones. They were looking for buyers if I'm not mistaken. A different coachman interrupts while we were talking. I thank him. Then I ride on his carriage cab to the Merchant Guild. I asked Arisa and Lisa to carry the luggages back to the inn. The coachman who has escorted me to the Merchants Guild kindly mediates me with the guild. We don't usually sell to people outside of Merchant Guild members, but since you're introduced by Yosagu-san, let's make an exception. Yosagu-san is the coachman's name. It doesn't really matter, but the merchant here is Sunifun-san. He shows me 2 carriages. One of them is a covered wagon. The inside is about 4 tatami wide, I think. The other one is a box-shaped carriage. It's about 2 meters high, and with a luggage space on the ceiling. The width inside is the same. The covered wagon is 10 gold coins. The box-shaped carriage is 30 gold coins. The box-shaped carriage is more robust and safer, but you will need 4 to 6 horses to pull it. The covered wagon depends on its load. If the load is light, then you only need 1 to 2 horses. I wanted the safe one, so I was going to buy the box-shaped carriage. But I'm told that since the center of gravity is tall, the operation of the carriage is difficult, so I stopped. I have a car license, but driving a carriage? Since I don't have any experience on it, let's proceed carefully. I asked to be shown the inside before buying. The inside of the covered wagon is, how do I say it? Normal. Under the seat for the coachman, there's a hidden space for valuables. It seems that it was remodeled by the previous owner. I'd like to buy this covered wagon, but could you also prepare the horses together? Right, we could prepare 2 Gonsu horses from the guild for you. We could provide 4 if it's donkeys, but depending on the load and the destination, they may not be suitable. I tell him that the destination is the Labyrinth City, and the load are 6 people and their necessities. He recommends the Gonsu horses for the task. If I carry heavy luggages, then, even if it's slower, he says that the donkeys are better. If you want to be fast, then Shuberian horses are the ones you want, but it seems that they all have been bought by the territory government. The price for 2 horses and the wagon are 20 gold coins, but I've managed to get it down to 18. Sunifun-san is surprised to see me pay it fully and in cash. Normally people will get the bill first, and pay at the later date. I'm quite hasty. I used to get scolded by people on my house because of it. I use excuse as if I'm son of a noble who's ignorant with the world. Sato-sama, since 6 people are going to the Labyrinth City, it will be wasteful if you only bring an empty load. Is that so? Certainly, half of the space would be usable. Furthermore, me and Arisa would have plenty of storage capabilities. Do you have any products to recommend? Right then, I think that crossbow and bolt would have demand in the Labyrinth City. Since the crossbows from Seiryu City are made to shoot wyverns in the sky, its specs are higher than those from the other regions, so it would sell like hotcakes. Also, since it's currently cheap to procure gold leather and furs due to the season, I think it will be easy to profit on. Excuse me, does Sato-sama have commercial rights? Unfortunately, I do not. So a permit is really necessary. That's unfortunate. We can only issue a permit for 10 gold coins. That's quite expensive. One doesn't need permit to do the trades in small quantities inside the city. But if you enter a city without one, then you won't be exempted from the tariff tax, so the profit will almost be nothing. I see. Then I should put them inside the storage to avert the tariff. but there's no reason to earn money illegally. If you don't go to other cities, then there is an item that is exempted from the tax in the Labyrinth City. But since the tax for it in other cities is quite high, there's really no meaning to it. What kind of item is it? Because there is no demand in this city, they don't have name here, but it's in constant demand inside the Labyrinth City. It's an alchemy material called Dragon White Stone. I think my face shows it when I heard the name. Since Sunifun-san asks for it, I tell him about the fraud I met in the East District. I see. It's natural that you had such a face. However, the ones here are guaranteed by the Merchant Association. It seems that they sell one small barrel for 10 gold coins, the same as market price. By the way, it seems that you could easily sell that amount for 20 gold coins in the Labyrinth City. If I could sell it for twice the price, then wouldn't I net quite a profit? So I thought, but he said that because of tariffs for entering the cities on the way and the transportation cost, the profit ended up to be quite small. If the stones doesn't sell, then you can bring it to the Merchants Guild. They will buy it at the price you buy here. If you wish, we could make a letter of endorsement to guarantee the quality. I was almost made to buy in large quantity, but I declined by saying that there won't be enough space for water and food if I brought too many. I ended up buying 6 small barrels of dragon white stone, 100 pieces of goat leather, 100 bundles of wool, 10 crossbows, and 1,000 bolts. Because there are all 70 gold coins even after I lowered the price, I signed a temporary contract, and will pay for it tomorrow along with the product's exchange. Right now, I'm riding the covered wagon outside the Seiryu city. That said, it's not like we have departed. After I had finished the business at the guild, outside, I asked Sunifun-san if he could introduce me to someone who could teach me how to operate the wagon. There, Yosagu-san, who were waiting for me to return, said, "Then let this old bone teach you." And that's how the flow went. As Yosagu-san started to teach the basics of operating a wagon. Marshalling skill acquired. Like always, I allocate 1 skill point to it and activate it, so it wasn't included in the operation skill. It's awkward, but I can control the wagon for once. During the practice, I raised the skill level by 1. It's not as high as Yosagu-san's skill level at 3, but since I could already control the wagon fine, I stopped raising the level. Young guy do learn fast, isn't it? Thanks to Yosagu-san's good teaching. Disregarding the cheat from skill, Yosagu-san's teaching is really good. I had failed once, but he firmly taught me what to be careful with. He might be suited to be an instructor. Particularly when I treat it like a car, forgetting that the horses are also creatures, he was mad many times. You're good enough like this. Thank you very much. Next, I will teach you how to fix and release the yoke that connects the horse to the wagon. The horse fatigue depends on how good you are at this. If you value your horses, then don't cut corners on this. Yosagu-san looks more serious than when he was teaching me to ride the wagon. He probably quite likes horses. After about 1 hour of strict training, I finally got a passing mark from Yosagu-san. I thought that it had took a long time, but Yosagu-san said that one normally only scratched the surface in half a day, so he's impressed. Yosagu-san tells me that he was a coachman working for a caravan before he worked as a cab coachman in Seiryu City. He teaches me various things like crossbows and spears are good for defending the wagon, or that I should always resupply drinking water at cities since they're not always available at the indicated spots on the map, or that when we take a break, I should not forget to give rock salts to the horses along with water. We're going to the Merchants Guild with the wagon. Since Yosagu-san's carriage is left behind in the guild, we're going there to fetch it. During the way there, Yosagu-san talks about the brothels in Seiryu City. It seems that he's into big breasts. As a thanks for teaching me various things, I've decided to luxuriously treat him at the shop he recommends, tomorrow evening. Since there are a lot of lollies around me recently, this will be fun. Before returning to Molzen Inn with a covered wagon, I go to receive my clothes. I come just as the delivery, so I'm able to meet the rumored tailor. I feel like I know her face. Then I realize that she's the bathtub partner I met on the first day. It's embarrassing. It's surprising that she also remembers me, but there's no real development. And I thank her for the quality of her clothes as an etiquette. I ride the wagon into the courtyard of the Mosen Inn. Martha-chan is just right at it, so I tell her that I've bought the wagon. Since there are rooms in the stable, it seems that it's alright. However, I have to pay for the parking fee since it's a different charge from the normal inn room. Will come home? Nano desu? When I'm talking with Martha-chan, Pochi and Tama run from the shade behind the courtyard. Tama probably wanted to say welcome. Two people are also appearing from the shade. The helper girl, Yuni, is also together with them. I wonder if she doesn't have prejudice against demi-humans. Arisa and the girls seems to have been playing in the shade of the garden plants in the courtyard. No, that word isn't right. They're trying to learn letters from the learning cards. At first, it seems that Martha-chan is teaching, acting as the teacher. But in the middle, let's put the card face up and read the letter. Then if you can guess the content in the back right, it's yours to take. Arisa proposed that game-like study session, but since the other members weren't familiar with the game, they became quite addicted to it. It has already been continuing for 2 hours. The one who wins the most is Arisa, followed by Puchi, Lulu, Yuni, Tama, and Lisa in that order. I leave the horses for everyone else to take care of, and bring only Arisa to the room. Lulu's expression becomes a bit cloudy, but I can just clear the misunderstanding later.